Hello, everyone. It's Sibyl Star, and I am here to give the astrology forecast for the Leo new moon. It's a very exciting time here in this energy of Leo, and we're still in the energy of Sirius. You know, the exact alignment of the sun with Sirius is on July 4th. Well, it's basically from July 1st to the 7th is when we really are in alignment with the sun. But today, the day that I'm recording, is July 26th, and this is the day of the Galactic New Year. Yesterday was July 25th, which is in the Mayan calendar is called the day out of time. But the Galactic New Year starts with the heliacal rising of Sirius. And what that actually means is that Sirius rises before the sun. She's still in the light of the sun, but but the Egyptians knew that this was the day when she rose before the sun. So it was the beginning of their new year and the beginning, or ancient Egyptians, and it's the beginning of the galactic new year. We also have the Lion's Gate on 8/8, and August 8th. It happens every year, and the reason I'm speaking about it is because it is in this Leo new moon time. Okay, this 30 days of the Leo new moon, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But the Lion's Gate is the time of the year when the sun is actually closest to Sirius. It's not actually in the astronomical alignment, but it is astronomically closest to Sirius. And during that time, it's a portal with light codes coming in, activating the light codes in our own DNA, showing what no longer resonates with our higher vibration. Fear is being released. Avatars come in through this dimension, offering spiritual guidance and assistance. And the ancient Egyptians believed that the star Sirius was the celestial form of the goddess Isis, and it is the mother star to our sun, SUN/SON. The great mother as the goddess of Isis, and Sirius watches over us. And Sirius is the spiritual sun to our sun. It is like our higher self is to each of us, and to receive the love that is coming in with increased potential for awakening. And I'll do another short video on the Lion's Gate when it actually happens on 8/8. But on to the new moon in Leo. Well, first off, let's just talk about what Leo means. And with the sun being in Leo, the sun moved into Leo on July 22nd. And Leo is what we call ruled by the sun. Now that's an old term, but it really means the same. They're closely associated. It's a time of a lot of light, and to remember that the sun is actually our star, and our star's name is actually Sol, SOL. And it is the primary body of consciousness and life force in this solar system. All of the planets orbit around the sun, and it is the gravitational field of the sun that keeps everything in order and alignment. But this consciousness can be compared to Christ consciousness. It comes from the heart, and it is about the light. Now, Leo is a fixed fire sign, and so it's about a slow burn. You know, Leo is so much about keeping that light in your heart lit, and the sun is also about life force and vitality. And so the life force and vitality is really, really strong during times of Leo. And so we are given guidance about how to keep that flame lit all year round. Leo is the archetype of the divine child, the king and queen, and the performer. It's about creative self-expression, play as sacred, the celebration of life, and it's also about leadership, a strong sense of self, and it's a very passionate kind of an energy. The shadow of Leo is being dogmatic, needing to be right at all costs, needing to be the center of attention, playing to the crowd, and compromising oneself for love. Okay. Now, the Leo new moon is at 5 degrees of Leo on July 28th at 10:56 a.m. Pacific, and I will share this chart with you. Okay, here we go. So here is the Leo new moon. And just so you know, for those who don't understand why the chart looks like this, when I'm doing like the new moon or an event, I use what is called a natural chart or 0 degrees Aries chart because this new moon is happening all over the world at the same time. And I mean, it's at the same moment, not necessarily the same time. Okay. And this 0 degrees Aries kind of shows the general energy, but not in just a specific place. Okay. So what we have here is we have the sun and moon at Leo 38 degrees at 10, was actually 10:55 a.m., I guess. And we have another big, and no, and this sun and moon is in a trine to Jupiter here at 8 degrees of Aries. And this is a really powerful aspect. The other one we're going to be talking about is we have this conjunction here of Mars, Uranus, and the North Node here in Taurus. At 8, well, Uranus and the North Node are around 18, 19 degrees. And Mercury is at 18 degrees of Leo, and that's a square. All right. So those are both, they're very important and prominent components of this new moon. All right. So anyway, so what does all of this mean? So first of, as I said, the sun represents the light of consciousness, shining through the Christ consciousness and is heart-based. And I also want to point out the picture I'm sitting in front of because it's so important. This is Leo. I've got Leo right behind me, Leo royalty, the king of the beast. And he's got, the star of consciousness above his head there and so much light pouring forth. Leo is very much about letting your light shine. It is about feeding that flame in your heart because this is really how we impact our field, is we want to bring as much light as possible. Although, it is an integration of light and dark. It's just this Leo is really very much about the light. And this is also conjunct Ceres, which I forgot to show you on the chart. The sun is conjunct Ceres, the sun and moon. And Ceres is one of the great mother archetypes, and she brings in the idea of nurturing. And so how do we nurture ourselves in Leo? Because we want to nurture that flame, the flame of life and life force and vitality that lives within us. And so it's about play. It's so important during this time of Leo to find time to play. Even though life can be difficult and we may look at play as a luxury, the truth is that we absolutely need it to nurture the life force within. And however it is we play, whether we go to the beach, we play with our children, we do art, whatever brings you joy is following that light within. It could be playing with our pets, whatever that is. It's even in these difficult times, find a place to go towards the light, make time to play, and especially if you have children, to play with your children. Find time to laugh and enjoy yourself, because it is the vibration of joy that we want to put in the field. It is one of the highest frequencies. And to know that it is not just about you and your joy, but is when you are in that place of joy, how you impact the field and elevate the field for everyone around us, which is what we're needing to do. It is a higher frequency vibration. And trining Jupiter, Jupiter opens doors, and Jupiter is in Aries, and Aries is the first fire sign. And so it's kind of like this sudden explosion of energy. It's a big burst of energy. It's a better way to put that. Whereas Leo is like the sustained fire. But during this new moon period, this next 30 days, you might find doors opening when you follow your passion. As I was talking to a friend of mine today who said that she's really been overcome with a desire to paint and spending a lot of time painting. And, she said she had laid it down for a while, but it just came into just how clear it was she was to be doing this. And so I told her, I said, when you're in that space, you step into Kairos time. You step out of Chronos time into Kairos time. And Kairos time is the realm where there is no time. And this is where manifestation and creation really happen. And it's in those moments when we're not trying and enjoying ourselves that clear guidance comes through. Okay. And so anyway, I love this quote by Howard Thurman, and it says, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Okay, and of course, Jupiter also brings in the attitude of gratitude, which changes everything. Counting our blessings and saying thank you. And there's another saying, that when we step on the path unfolds. Yeah, and sometimes that's just what it takes, is to take that risk to step on the path, because Jupiter in Aries has a lot to do with doors opening through taking some risks. Okay, now Mercury, the god of the mind, is in a square to the Uranus nodes Mars conjunction in Taurus. Now, and I'll talk more about the Uranus nodes Mars conjunction a little further, but with Mercury involved, it's very much about some surprising downloads in relation to our direction in life, or through creative outlets. And it's important right now to make some time to listen carefully to the messages coming in. And you might find some resistance because it's a square to the messages saying, no, I don't want to do that, or I can't do that. Not so much I don't want to, because I think it's going to show us what we want to do. We might get that, oh, I can't do that. And really listen and see what you can do, because that may be the direction that wants to open. Because like I said, the world needs people that have come alive. All these old dead end places of the old is collapsing. And the way to find the new is to follow it through our hearts and through the light. Okay. And also you could be pushed to speak up and to speak what is true for you, even if your voice shakes. Now, another component of this is the weather. Mercury and Uranus have a lot to do with weather, and Uranus has often to do with weather extremes, which we are seeing. And there is a lot of fire in the field. We've got the sun and moon in Leo, then we've got Jupiter in Aries, which expands everything. And we are definitely seeing a lot of heat all over the planet right now. And fires breaking out. But know that Uranus also can bring all kinds of weather events. And so we might see some coming up in the next couple of weeks. Now, at this new moon, Uranus, Mars, and the North Node are all conjunct, but on July 31st and August 1st is when all three are exact at 18 degrees, and that's very important. So if you have planets that are at 18 degrees of the fixed signs, such as Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius, you might see some big shifts and changes happening in your life. Some dynamic ones, some dramatic ones. That might be another way to say it. Some drama, some dramatic ones. It's also trying to the earth signs of Capricorn and Virgo. So those changes might be a little more easy than the squares that are happening. But regardless, it's going to impact the collective, and wherever it lands, whatever house it lands in, is where you may really see some big changes. And so Uranus is the planet of sudden awakening. It's the higher mind. Mercury is the human mind, and Uranus is the divine mind. And so it's a huge potential for downloads, changes, and breakthrough. The North Node is the way forward. It's our North Star. Now, Uranus and the North Node have been traveling together very tightly for the last, in July, and they'll continue through August. But when Mars catches up with them, Mars is what makes things happen. Mars is a catalyst or an activator. And so over these next 2 weeks, there might be a lot of unexpected events happening on the world stage, some sort of major earth changes. And Mars and Uranus together sometimes brings violence, because it's a volatile energy. It's difficult to manage, and it manifests in unexpected ways. And Mars is the warrior. So I don't know that there's going to be some violence, but let's just say, it's certainly possible. And just in our own lives, to know that the energy is difficult to manage. And so, be very careful. Taurus is very much about the body. It's cautious. So these two planets being in Taurus is much, much better than being, let's say, in Aries or, another fire sign, because it's asking us to be very aware and cautious of our bodies during these time, and to take care of them, and how we use them, and to be really careful when we use sharp objects like knives and different things. Okay. But what is really trying to do, it's about breaking new ground, new energies and frequencies coming in. Like I said, downloads from the divine mind. Uranus is so much about breakthrough. It comes at a time when we are stuck. So if you're feeling stuck somewhere, like not quite knowing what it is what your next step is, or, understanding what's happening in your world, you might get some insights, some real downloads, or some real guidance of what your next step is, because it's the energy shifting, because it's also about breakdown and breakthrough. And it is often through breakdown that we get the breakthrough, because, Taurus is the sign that likes comfort and wants things to stay the same, and is the one that resists change the most. Whereas Uranus and Taurus is shaking us all out of our comfort zone, because that's where change happens. It happens just beyond your comfort zone. Okay. And there are many twists and turns in the path. As I say, this is the North Star with the North Node. And so it's showing us the path, but the path is not linear. There are many twists and turns, changing circumstances, unexpected events, and synchronicities. And I can't advise you enough to follow the synchronicities, because that is the breadcrumbs the universe is leaving to show us this way, and this new unexplored territory. Like a friend of mine said, we are navigating the mystery. And so as we're navigating the mystery, it's like we are in a space where we are like navigating the rapids. And there is a need for flexibility and the ability to follow the energy. Because the truth is, we are in a field of infinite possibility, and anything is possible. And all of the old ways of thinking and being are falling away, because they no longer serve us. And we are waking. Consensus reality is changing, and we are moving into new fields where and so we really have to be able to follow our own inner GPS for guidance, because even the outer GPSs, they're not going to tell us. It is our inner GPS that we need to follow. And to be able to do that, it's very much about being in the present moment, because that is where creation and guidance takes place. The past is over and the future is not yet here. And the sign Taurus really asks us to be in the present moment, because that truth is that's really all there really is. I listened to Dolores Cannon the other day, and many of you may be familiar with her. And she talked about in one of her past life regressions that she did, she somehow came across Nostradamus. And she asked him, she said, "So is everything happening at the same time?" And he said, "No, everything is existing at the same time." So to me, that says it's kind of like we're like multifaceted dimensional beings, and many things are happening at the same time. We're just not conscious of it. And sometimes it bleeds over, because the truth is there is no linear time. Everything is happening in the now. And the more we can stay in the now, the more we're able to create the world we want. Okay. And Taurus also requires inner peace, being centered to be able to follow that energy. Now, the South Node is also activated, and that's what we are releasing. And the South Node is in Scorpio. And Scorpio requires the breaking of old patterns and releasing what you no longer need. And one of that is decisions based on safety and security needs. Because the truth is, the only place where there is real safety is within ourselves. The outer world is not going to be providing it, because things are changing. But there is safety within ourselves, and to remember that we are never alone. We can always ask for help and guidance. One of the primary concerns also is, with Taurus, is to be able to take care of your body, to be able to hold these inner frequencies. Okay. Everything is changing. Nothing will be the same. And to allow yourself to be uncomfortable. Okay. And to not like go back and say, "Oh, but I want things to be the way they used to be," because they're just not. Okay. And because it is when we release the resistance to change that magic happens. And another really significant piece, I believe, of this activation of the South Node energy of what we're releasing, it's about the drama, the melodrama. Scorpio has a lot to do with drama and melodrama, and so does Leo. So don't participate in the drama as the collective shadow rises. Our goal is to rise above it, because we are elevating the consciousness and raising the frequency here in the field of Mother Earth as we are moving into this ascension process. We are moving through some dense energies, so it's important to sage, purify yourself and your space daily. And like I said, we are preparing for the final Saturn-Uranus square in the fall, and it will be intense, because it is about the shattering of consensus reality as the shift intensifies and new frequencies flood the planet. And one of these understandings of consensus reality is that we are creating the outer world by who we are in our inner world. The outer world is actually a projection of our inner world. And when we increase our own frequency, the outer world changes. And that's our job right now. And it is to stay focused on what we're creating, not what's collapsing. Okay. And of course, it's important all the different ways to keep our frequency high, being consciously aware of what goes into our bodies, elevating our thoughts, and where we focus our energy, knowing then the quantum field, where we focus our energy is what we create, or where we focus our thoughts. Okay. And, awareness of what is in your field, the company you keep, the music you listen to, the videos, the books. It's so important to continue to be out in nature, because Mother Earth is our guide right now. And one more thing, I do believe the changing of consensus reality is that the veil is thinning between ourselves and the rest of the galaxy. As we move into the age of Aquarius, part of our job is to remember who we are, and that we are not alone, that our galaxy is teeming with life force, and our Star Nation relatives are wanting to make contact, because they are helping us make this shift. We're not doing it alone. They are coming to our aid, and we can ask for help from the different star nations, especially those that we feel really connected to. They are our allies in helping us make this shift. So just to close, in summary, just a few of the important points: that we are really ready for a potential huge leap in consciousness with this Uranus North Node Mars conjunction, because Uranus is so much about the divine mind and consciousness, but to keep ourselves centered and grounded, because Uranus is often compared to lightning, and it needs to be grounded to be able to utilize the energy. Okay. Follow your bliss. Whatever brings you joy, follow the light, and allow changes in your field and the light through following this. And to remember that anything is possible. Don't allow what has been to determine your present or your future. And love is the only way, and the love is pouring in through. As a matter of fact, there are some big solar flares happening right now, and to know that these solar flares are bringing in higher levels of consciousness, activation of our DNA codes, and helping us on this process of shifting into these higher frequencies, and that the whole galaxy is here to help us. We just have to ask for that help. All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful month and take advantage of the light. Be sure and go to the beach, have fun, enjoy yourselves. And if you like this video, please check like and subscribe to my channel. And if you're interested in having readings done, my contact information is in the description box. And I'm adding a new component to my readings, which is Galactic Astrology, where I'm really looking at your star nation heritage and your star nation lineage. That's a better way to say it. And in your charts, I'm weaving that in. At some point, I'll have a whole separate reading of your galactic astrology, or what I'm calling your cosmic DNA astrology. And so hoping that I'll be putting out a lot more information about that soon. All right. So blessings to all of you.